Hello!
Oh, we've got there in the end.
Don't you worry. I mean, I'm not technical at all. I've no idea. So don't you worry at all.
I've no idea. Last one I was doing, it cut me off halfway through and I couldn't see it.
Oh, did
I've
it?
no idea what happened.
Sometimes Instagram is so funny. It just like, for random reasons, it will just cut a video off or just stop a message or anything. It's like, oh.
It's probably because I've never used it. I never go on lives or anything.
No, you're my second Instagram live, so I'm very new to it.
Hopefully you smash it.
Oh, Matt, oh, lovely. How are you today?
Me, I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I'm at that stage. Good. I'm getting there. I'm powering through.
It's great you're doing this.
Thank you.
So when's your birthday? Is it tomorrow?
Sunday, but I thought
Sunday. Amazing.
Get out of the way.
August baby.
Everyone I know seems to know's got like birthdays around the minute.
Yeah, I'm an August birthday, 19th.
All the best people are. So.
Yeah.
Sorry
All the Leos.
Yeah. It's the best time. Yeah, I've got loads of questions for you. So,
oh, great.
The same one I've asked everyone at the start is, how did you get into acting generally to start with?
Yeah. So I always sort of loved dressing up into like princess. I love Disney, so I always dress up as like a Disney character. I was kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I did Mary Poppins, so I used to just love to sort of just put on a show. And then I think my first show I saw, that was when I was living over in America, and then when I moved over to England, the first show I saw was The Lion King, and I just fell in love with it. I loved it, and I always was dancing, and then I did, I started singing a little bit later. I was in choirs, and then I kind of started to sing a bit more proper, in singing lessons. And then it wasn't until I was about 13 years old, someone said to me, oh, I think you should audition for Tring, which is a performing arts school up in Hertfordshire. Tring School for Performing Arts. It was the Arts Educational School, Tring Park, at the time. So then, I auditioned, and I was lucky enough to get in. And then, that was it. But I had already kind of done it as a hobby, and I didn't know you could actually have a profession as an actor, which was I was like, what? You can do this? You can have fun, and you can have this as a career? I didn't know that was possible.
Amazing. And from there, what was like the first kind of role you played, whether this is like a school role, or what was the kind of first one you remember playing?
I did Maisie LeBird in Zeusical the Musical. That was my first sort of like part, as it would say, which was at Tring. And I never heard of the musical beforehand, and I remember they were like, we're doing this musical, so I obviously bought the soundtrack, and then I was obsessed with all the songs. And that was sort of the first show, I mean, as a part. First show I think was Bugsy Malone. Which amazing. I loved. I was Tilly, I think. Tilly, one of the chorus girls, so that was really fun.
Amazing. Obviously, like prior to all this lockdown, you've been open a few months in Mary Poppins now.
About 6 months. It was, I mean, I had such a lovely time. It was such a gorgeous show. I had so much fun, and obviously it's such a shame it was sort of cut, but I mean, hopefully we'll be back, who knows. But if it's such a wonderful, magical show, and it was a dream show of mine to do. I've always wanted to do Mary Poppins, and I mean, when I was younger, I used to dance around, singing some of her songs. So it was sort of a real dream come true. And I just so magical, and a wonderful message, which is what you want in a show.
And I guess like you say, you've got more meaning to you, because obviously if you've watched it as a child and dressed up and all that, it's got more special to that way.
No, absolutely, like a full circle moment. It really is.
Amazing. Obviously, like you're understudying as well for Mrs. Banks.
Understudy Mrs. Banks and Mary Poppins. So loads of fun, a lot of work, but I love a challenge.
That's the best way. That's the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
And obviously, then going back to things like White Christmas, obviously, for me now, it's obviously some of the Curvy and Company guys are here.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen some of them pop up. Hello. Yeah, that was again actually. That was a real. I mean, I absolutely adore Leicester Curve. It's my favourite place to work. I just think the atmosphere, you know, Nikolai and Chris, I mean, you just enter the building and you just feel like you're a part of a family. And there's so much things going on. I always love that, entering the building and, you know, there's like a hip hop group down, you know, downstairs, and then you hear like a choir singing, and I just loved, you know, I loved it. I first went to the Curve when I was doing a Hairspray UK tour back in 2015, and I loved it, but we were only there for such a short amount of time. And then obviously when I was doing White Christmas, I was like, oh, I was thrilled to go back and to work with Nikolai. And yeah, it really, that show as well was a real highlight for me. I loved it. I've always wanted to do a Christmas show, and I mean, it was a great, you know, Judy, I really enjoyed the part. I felt she was very different from me, which I loved. You know, she was a, you know, a bit more of the yeah, a bit more sort of the I would say the fierce one, and a bit more courageous, and and a bit of a flirt as well, you know.
Yeah. No, it's just one of them.
But
I'm
yeah,
not being biased, but it's probably one of the best kind of Curve Christmas ones I've seen.
Thank you.
That's just me being biased, but I've not seen them all, so I can't really judge them all. But.
No, really, and the group of people as well that, you know, we all together, you know, Danny Mack and Dan Burton and Emma Williams, and, you know, then we had Stephen Mea choreographing, who is literally, you know, incredible, Olivier Award, you know, winner. So it was a real, and the company as well were it was a wonderful group of people. Couldn't, you know, spend Christmas with a better bunch.
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, it was just one of them perfect shows, especially like for here. But obviously, like, because obviously Curve's probably my local, I suppose, really.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah,
and also
another
local one. I was talking to Emily Squibb earlier about, obviously, Kiss Me Kate.
Yes, Kiss Me Kate. Yes. Yeah, I saw that she was on earlier on. I was like, yeah. Kilworth House again. I mean, I've never performed outside, and it was such a great experience. I mean, it was a really hot summer as well. I remember it being, I think it was one of the hottest summers we've ever had. And it was so much fun. It was, I think, just being, you know, among nature. If there was, you know, a plane that, you know, everything was sort of a part of the performance. Yeah, if a plane went past, you know, it was exciting, and it's beautiful there as well. Like, and I feel like in the last couple of years, it's really, you know, people know about Kilworth House, and they want to go and they want to work there, and it's so I feel very lucky to have both you know, worked in both Leicester sort of venues.
I guess it's like I said to Emily, is it more challenging because of the kind of outside element of it, or
so that again, sorry,
is it like more challenging because of the outdoor element of the theatre, or is it kind of more exciting, I suppose?
It's weird because obviously in the matinee we would perform sometimes, and, you know, obviously it wasn't dark, so you could see the audience, which at first was really quite bizarre actually, because you're like, because it's so close and intimate, you're like looking right at, you know, sometimes you're like, I'm directing it right at you and I didn't mean to, and but so at first it was like, I have to get used to this, but it was so much fun because I love that sort of intimacy that you really feel, you know, the audience are like right there with you. So it was at first, like I said, at first it was quite, you had to kind of get used to it, but it was lovely. And then when it got dark, I think the evening show, it was a bit light, and then it was getting dark, and that was beautiful, and it really sort of, I did feel like it affected, you know, what we did on stage, and like, you know, like when we headed into Act 2, it was getting darker, and there were certain scenes. It just was, you know, that went with the mood.
It's one of them venues that just certain shows kind of perfect for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was I love seeing what they do with each show, because obviously it's so different. So they can,
Yeah.
you know, I think it was West Side Story. They really opened it up. So they had like a huge sort of, it was like a New York sort of like road almost, it looked like. And then you've got, you know, something like Kiss Me Kate, which, you know, couldn't be more opposite. And we were doing a show within a show. So we had sort of, you know, outdoor, proscenium art and everything. So, yeah, I love seeing, you know, the creations of, you know, what it's going to be like. And I know I saw Joseph, I didn't see Joseph, but I saw the pictures of, you know, Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and that was, again, so different. It's yeah, it's great.
Amazing. Obviously you've done a couple of roles in Paris as well. Kind of audiences different kind of there to hear much?
So yeah, do you know what, I again, Paris is it was a dream. It feels like a dream because it feels like so long ago, but also it's such a beautiful city, and so lucky to work at the Theatre de Châtelet. It's normally an opera sort of theatre, but it's stunning. And I know they redid it after we finished 42nd Street there. We were sort of the last show before they sort of redone it. So I've not seen what it looks like now, but it was, you know, beautiful. And because it was an opera company, we had a huge, I mean, as well as 42nd Street, we had a huge ensemble. We had a huge, you know, huge cast, so many people working backstage. And I remember, you know, I hadn't been to Paris since I was little at the time. And, you know, they're like, you know, the French, they, you know, I heard like not so nice things about the French. And I totally disagree with everything, because they are the most wonderful, loveliest people. They are so kind, and they work so hard. And there's so, and what was so different about sort of the Parisian shows compared to the West End is there's so many people backstage working on the wigs. We had, and they do your makeup as well, which, you know, we do it normally when we're in the West, you know, in the West End or anything, we do our makeup and our wig prep. But so that was like, you felt like a bit, you know, luxury. You're like, oh my gosh, someone else is doing my makeup. And then someone was doing your pink nails on your hair. So there was so many people a part of it, because every person had their own wiggy and makeup artist. So it was such a amazing experience. And I mean, I've kept in touch with a lot of people back in Paris, you know, wiggies and makeup artists, and, you know, costume designers, and so when I came back for Singing in the Rain, a lot of the same people were working on the show. So that was lovely, because it was like, friends. But yeah, I would love to work out there again as well. It was a dream. Especially it was 42nd Street was my first sort of part I played, and I felt like I was living on cloud nine for the for the whole, I think it was the whole run. I was just like, is this real? Same with Singing in the Rain as well. I was like, oh. But yeah, it was wonderful.
Amazing. I was going to ask, what was kind of, as an audience member, what have been your kind of favourite shows or performances you've seen?
Oh, I love that one. Well, my last show I actually saw before we went into lockdown was City of Angels, and that was one of my favourites I've ever seen. Again, Stephen was choreographing it, and it was the Donmar production that they brought into the West End. It's a shame, because I think they closed, and they were only in previews. They hadn't opened yet, but I hear it's potentially coming back, so fingers crossed, because that was a wonderful production. The songs and the harmonies in that, it's so jazzy. And Gareth Valentine, who did 42nd Street and Singing in the Rain, he was the musical supervisor on it. Again, just those jazzy, it's like that old Hollywood. It was one of my favorites actually I've seen. Another one was Sweet Charity, which was back in 2010, but I really felt that was a sort of a life-changing experience from watching it. It was, I was at Tring, and I was like 17 years old, and I was like, it was one of those shows where I was a bit older, and it was like the first show I saw that was like, I really want to be in that. I really want to do that. Like, I've seen shows, and I was like, I want to do that, but I was like, I really want to do that. And so that's one I remember and I remember it so clearly as well. That was at the Haymarket. And then There are so many. There's so many shows. I can't think on the top of my head. What was? Oh yeah. Well, those are the two. Those are two of my highlights. If there's any others, it'll come to me.
Yeah, this is the problem with it. Is you see too many. I find it, especially as like doing a blog now. You just mold into one.
Absolutely.
I'm going to put you on the spot as well. What's the big question? What's your favourite Disney film? It's the big question.
Okay, I love Little Mermaid. That's one of my faves. I used to love Beauty and the Beast, and I still do. That's another favourite of mine. Yeah. I love Princess and the Frog. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favourites as well when it came out. I absolutely loved it. There's a lot. I like a lot of Disney films.
Yeah.
I also like a very underrated one is Zootopia.
Yes.
Which no, it's not called Zootopia here. It's called something else, Zootropolis. In America, it's called Zootopia. I think I saw it in America, hence me thinking Zootopia. Yeah, Zootropolis. So that's a very underrated film, and I think it's brilliant. Again, such a wonderful message. So people out there of Instagram, go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, do it. It's very good. Think about it, like my favourite Disney film is Hunchback of Notre Dame, which nobody ever says, which is annoying.
Oh yeah, the music in that, and I know they need to. I know they've made a musical, and they did it in America, but they need to bring it over here because it was like so sort of, obviously, you know, very like the score is so operatic and really dramatic. I feel like it would be an amazing musical because of that reason, and obviously the story is, again, that's a lovely story meaning as well. They'll have these lovely meanings.
Okay. You'd be a good Esmeralda as well, so there you go.
Oh, thanks.
There you go. Put out there. Anyone who's watching this point of producing it.
Oh, thanks.
And kind of the final question I've been asking the same everyone is, what's the best kind of piece of advice you'd give to someone wanting to get into the business?
Yeah, I think just, you know, hard work and persistence and you know, passion. You know, you've got to be, you know, we have a lot of knockbacks, and you've just got to just sort of, if you're passionate enough, you want to work hard enough, you know, it all is worth it. It is so worth it. Those times when you're like, oh, you know, those knockbacks, you know, you just got to get up and you've got to be like, okay, how can I be better? How can I improve? Is there, you know, what can I do to achieve what I want to achieve? And yeah, and also being yourself, and, you know, hopefully, you know, be a lovely human being. That's also a lovely advice. I like to, you know, just be a nice person, because, you know, we're going through some hard times at the moment, you know, just, you know, it's important to be nice and just, you know, care for each other and look out for each other. But yeah, definitely, I definitely think hard work and persistence and yeah, and have fun. It's all, you know, we do this because, you know, we love it. And sometimes people can forget that. So, you know, never forget the reason why you started. Think of that little person, you know, little girl or boy singing those Disney songs or whatever, you know, whatever you did, put on those pantomimes.
Amazing. That kind of wraps it up brilliantly, Fair.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you for coming.
No, thank you so much for having me. And this is amazing that you're doing this and, you know, giving to, you know, such an amazing cause. So anyone who hasn't donated,
there you go. See, I keep forgetting to tell everyone. So
no, don't worry.
Because I'm on the other account now, so I have no idea what's going on to it.
No, of course, gosh, it's all changed.
Thank you for technical issues. So we'll get
oh my gosh,
it was bound to happen at some point. It was bound to happen.
I'm the least technical person ever, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm just blagging it the whole time.
Well, you've done well, because we got on. That's the hardest bit. That's the hardest bit. Trying to explain it to people was the hardest part. Like, I'll go live, then you've got to come on, then I'll go. Yeah,
I know. I never knew about the sort of like requests. I didn't know how that worked until I did it a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
You'll all be doing it now. Everyone will be like going on live. So doing it.
Yeah.
You have to start doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been
amazing.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been so lovely to see your face again and chat.
and hopefully, fingers crossed, Mary Poppins will be back.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've not seen it yet. So, well,
Yeah,
I've not seen
come
this.
along.
Not
Come
seen this
see us
version yet.
hopefully when we're back. Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely. Oh, thanks so much, everyone. I'm just seeing everyone's messages.
Everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Well,
Amazing.
have a lovely day, and
Thank you all.
hopefully see you soon.
And you have a good afternoon. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
time. Bye.
Bye.